Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube. Come on, give YouTube just as an excited welcome as you give the podcast. Give them an exciting hello.
I'm in a mellow mood this evening.
Let's try it again. I'm not. This is rare. 1, 2,
Ben.
3.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
Ben's gonna be the rambunctious one today.
Not too rambunctious. I just think I've finally gotten over my fear of the snow.
Okay.
And by fear of the snow,
acclimating.
well, I would say I've always been a very slow driver, Sean, and I'm at least not terrified to drive to work anymore because I know all the routes around the dangerous areas.
So you take back roads.
See, well, still have to go over the bridge.
Yeah.
But instead of going down that Ferrysburg exit, that's a luge run. I just go into Spring Lake, take a left, do a Louie over there by the small town sandwich shop, and work my way back into the Ferrysburg area.
Take it easy.
Take it easy. So I'm feeling much better. It's cold. I'm put up with cold. Can't put up with bad roads. I'm not sure about it, but
yeah, the last day has been tough driving. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But we also have 40 in the forecast, so it's all gonna melt again.
And then freeze.
Yep. Gotta love Michigan.
You haven't heard of Fourth Winter?
Right. We have multiple Indian summers.
Oh, it happens every time.
Right?
Absolutely every time. Kid Rock be laughing right now. That was a place.
All summer long.
Well, yeah, all Indian summer long here. This is all in December. So, you want to get it started?
Yeah, it's going to be a good day today.
It is. We got some good stuff for you guys. Join us as we get ready and start recording for the podcast. What do you say, Sean?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hello, and welcome to the BOWA Show.
Oh, switching up every time.
Every time, though.
The dialect's a little bit different every time.
Have to. Keep them on their toes.
When are you going to have a southern accent or something like that?
I'll start doing accents.
Welcome to the BOWA Show.
Doing impressions.
That might be offensive. I apologize.
Doing impressions of different places for the intro.
Yep.
How's it going today, Ben?
It's a great way to start, Sean.
Always is.
Yep. Got myself some, we're in my basement, and I always thought this,
Woo!
I always thought, wow. Oh my gosh. Are you all right?
Yeah, maybe we start over.
I think I saw half a nose come out there.
Right?
No, I say we keep going. Yeah, or shut it down?
No, start it over.
Oh, man.
that was a rough one.
It's all right. We weren't recording it. Oh, yeah, we were.
I was going to say.
We were on the wrong track.
I didn't see it anywhere.
Man. Thank you, YouTube.
Bearing with us.
You get to see this.
Yeah. This is probably why nobody watches YouTube.
Dude, you got a mess going on.
I know. I'm like having to check for snot now after that one.
Check. Let me see your nose. No, all good. All good. Mustache.
Making sure it's not on my sleeve.
Hey, as long as it's not visible.
Right.
All right. Ready to go?
Once again, ready to go.
3, 2.
Hello, and welcome to the BOWA Show.
That's probably not going to work.
No. Living a positive life in a world that makes that incredibly difficult at times. If you're a fan of this show, whether you're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast from for your positivity package, leave us a review. It makes a huge difference. Find us on Facebook, the BOWA Show Podcast. Give us a like. Join the community over there for little things throughout the week of positivity. Yep. And, of course, growing community on YouTube out there. Thank you. We appreciate you. Make sure you click that subscribe button in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Little notification bell right next to it. Gives you alerts every time the BOWA Show posts. While you're there, like, comment, share things. It goes a long way.
Goes a very long way. Thank you to everybody who's listening and everybody that has paid it forward.
Yeah, and today we're on episode 36.
36. Who thought?
Getting up there.
Getting up there.
Every week.
It's just surprising.
It is.
I can't believe it. I was looking through it the other day, and I actually went on our Spotify and was taking a look at everything. And I'm scrolling. I'm like, holy cow.
We have a lot of episodes.
A lot of episodes. Yeah, right? And I was looking at them. They range anywhere from 35, 40 minutes to all the way to an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We got
close to 2 hours once, and I was like, oh, wow.
Because I'll be straight honest, every time we get on the mic, it almost feels like we're still, like, just starting this up. We're still, like, fresh and new, but I guess we're not.
Yeah, especially like I've joined quite a few different podcast groups out there on Facebook. And, you know, I figure I regularly talk about how you get what you give in this world. So I want to help other people who are on this podcast journey too, because you and I have hit a lot of bumps.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier to give other people some direction and stuff.
We hit a different bump every week still.
Right.
Yeah, like we had that massive YouTube fail, 3 weeks ago?
Yep.
I haven't had it since.
Didn't come out for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, we were about ready to release the new episode by the time the video came out.
Yep, people who are constantly asking, how do we get our listens up? And you're like, oh yeah, join the club, guys.
Oh, let's find
You're 2
out.
episodes in and
Yeah.
I've only got 10 listeners. I don't know what. It's like,
yo, bro, best tip I can give you is stop worrying about it.
it's a fact. And like a majority of the people who are on there that are doing, you know, podcasts for lengths of time, it's crazy to see the statistics that like get sent out about podcasts when you actually like do one, like the behind the scenes numbers, and there's like some 94,000 podcasts on Apple Podcasts and only 12% of them have done a new episode in the last 30 days. That's like so crazy to me that so many people start up, just instantly say, oh, I'm not getting where I should, give up. And it's like all of the people who are on there that you listen to that have very successful podcasts have been doing this for like 3, 4, 5 years sometimes before they got discovered or, you know, finally started to hit the numbers of like a lot of people listen. So
I've got friends in Nashville, and I kind of, you know, tilt it that way too. Like a lot of people go to Nashville to, you know, make their big break as a musician, right? Mm-hmm. And I got a couple friends in Nashville, and one of them's been, you know, been a hired musician with dozens of bands at this point, and they've been doing it for 5 to 8 years now, both of them, and neither of them have, quote unquote, you know, been found, I guess you could say, but they've been musicians for really, really top, you know, artists out there, been hired musicians, and they've got the same attitude about it. I say, oh man, you've been doing this for a long time. They say, I could be doing this forever, but I could also get found and do something else. Who knows? I'm just going to keep doing what I do, keep putting out content. It'll happen.
yeah, and I think it makes it so much easier if you actually love what you're doing.
Yeah,
you know,
you have to.
You do not start a podcast to make money, period. And like I feel like a lot of people out there, that's one of the major things you run into. Like, how do I get sponsors? How do I get this, and this? And it's like, you haven't even put out any episodes yet, and you're already worried about the monetary aspect.
Well, Gary Vee and people like that are putting that out there now. They're saying the number one thing you can do to, you know, raise awareness for your brand is put out podcasts, because then you've got audio, video. You can break it down and actually have text, you know.
Right.
But if you're really going to want to get into podcasts, and we hope you do, I hope everybody out there, if you want to start a podcast, go out and do it. Do what your heart desires.
And reach out. We'll help you.
We'll try to help as much as we can, but don't get into it for the money. And if you do your research and figure out how to make money quickly on a podcast.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're just trying to give out what we can do every week.
And so many people on there are just in the aspect of like, if you have one listener, you're doing something right. You know, that like the fact that someone out there is willing to sit and digest your content is a pretty good win.
That's how we started.
And it's the base
That's all
of
we
it.
wanted.
Yeah,
we didn't even want one. We just wanted to talk ourselves and you get your story out there. We wanted a lot of listeners, but we never sat down and said, man, we got to get 1,000 listeners in the first episode.
Right.
Never said that.
Keep the expectations realistic, set, you know, and I feel like just talking about where we want the show to go to, the growth that we do want, is a good aspect of looking into another episode today about 2020 and more things that you can do to improve your aspect on the new year. And today's a good deal about gratitude.
Yep, and being grateful for the one listener you do have on your
That's
podcast.
right.
For us, we're lucky enough to have triple digits oftentimes.
Right?
We're very, very grateful to all of our listeners. We say thank you before and after most of our podcasts as much as we can. And really being grateful for those that are listening is really what makes this valuable to you and I. What really makes me feel good when I'm done recording with you, what makes me feel good on Mondays when I see posts and comments about the page or the podcast, that I'm grateful for that.
Right.
And that's what keeps me going and talking to you every week, Sean. Oh, not our friendship, just the gratitude of, you know, seeing
Just
a couple
the
of people.
podcast.
Just the podcast.
That's right. Well, it is crazy though that it does leave you feeling better. You know, the more you talk about it, the more you focus on good things, and that's a great deal of what today is going to be about. We've got a couple of different, we've got one audio clip to go over and one article to just kind of read and break down. But it's kind of more the actual science behind it and the rewards of it, the carryover effect that gratitude can have on you.
I've got a really close friend at work. Well, I shouldn't say really close friend. Let's put it in perspective. We've never hung out outside of work, but I've known him now for over 2 years. And he's a great person. He does amazing things. He's hustling in and out of work. He comes into work, and we all say he's all Martin all the time. Always comes in with a positive attitude.
Yeah.
And his main preach about life is gratitude. Be grateful. Be grateful for what you have. Talking in the mirror every morning. Say what you're grateful for. He's got a wonderful family, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, and it's for him. It's all gratitude. Gratitude is huge, even if you have nothing else driving you in your day-to-day life. Oftentimes, gratitude could be the only thing you really focus on, and it could be all you need.
Yeah, it's enough to shift your attitude, which is the crazy thing about it. That, and it's more cool to see as science evolves and grows and changes that we're actually able to look into these things more now. A lot of people have just kind of carried that attitude with them for a long time because it makes you feel good, because it leaves you feeling better about yourself when you practice kindness and compassion and but now there's actually reasons to do it, for the analytical thinkers out there, for the pessimists and the people who need the science behind it. It's cool to have that ammunition as well to go along with just feeling better.
I think it's really cool to be able to say, like I just said a minute ago, like gratitude is almost like a miracle pill, right? You take it and things just are better.
Right.
And honestly, if all you do is take a little bit of extra gratitude every morning, I do think it is the one thing that you need. Positivity is a big bubble, right? Gratitude's a small piece of that bubble.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, if you're cynical and you're negative and you've got all this stuff and you have trouble, going about your daily life and you've got a negative attitude, but you somehow find a little bit of gratitude, I swear to God, gratitude is so powerful. It can drive you to keep going on and wake up the next morning.
Right.
At least from what I've seen and from what I've heard, and apparently this episode from what we will read and hear.
And I always just like going back to, one of our first episodes where you were in a terrible mood and, you were being really negative, and I let you vent all your frustrations out. And then that was the attitude shift that I presented you was, okay, well, tell me 3 things you're grateful for. And it would have been easy to just ramble them off, but you actually put some thought into it. And after describing the 3 things that you were grateful for, you had now had a smile on your face.
Well, because we spoke about it a little bit, I think last episode or the episode before too, it's like the idea that I had to start, I thought that, and he said, what are 3 things you're grateful for? So I started prioritizing them.
Yeah.
And when I realized I had to prioritize things I'm grateful for because I have more than 3, I had a smile on my face.
Yep. Well, and that's why a couple of the exercises today I think are extremely helpful in that sense too. Mm-hmm. To create an abundant list is a good thing, not a bad thing.
It's a great thing,
right? It's nice to be able to narrow it down to the 3 things that you're most grateful for. But the fact is, a lot of us have tons of things to be thankful for. It's just tough to think of them in the moment. So.
Even small things. I mean, from I'm grateful to have my family down to I'm grateful that my car was able to bring me home from work to I'm thankful that my car has FM radio so that I can listen to it on the way home. Like all the small things.
Yeah.
From big to small.
Yep.
It's just gratitude does
I have
not
eyes that can see that allow me to drive home safely.
My heart is still beating.
Yep.
I can drive. Yep. It's from big to small. Gratitude doesn't mean you have to be grateful for every freaking thing throughout your daily life. Just find a couple of things, because if you try to prioritize at halfway through your day, you say, what are 3 things I'm grateful for? I promise you'll come out with a smile. Mm-hmm. I've done it myself. That's literally been the one thing I've been really working on the last several months. That's my pick-me-up. Mm-hmm. If I'm going through my day and I'm having a tough time, I say, what are 3 things you're grateful for? I end up smiling and being in a better mood because I realize there's more than 3 things to be grateful for. Yep. It's a great exercise for anybody. Takes no education, no expertise. What are 3 things you're happy for? Yep. What do you want to get into this article and get even deeper?
We didn't do good news.
Well, this is kind of the good news.
See, I was
isn't it?
thinking we should actually do like a news story.
Well, let's find ourselves a news story.
Should
Should I
pause
pause
that?
it?
Yeah.
Sorry, YouTube. We'll get
We'll
one.
be right back after this non-commercial break. We just had to talk it over for a second.
We already had what we wanted to do.
We just didn't know it.
You just didn't know it.
So we had to pause the podcast and pause YouTube and find something to
It was
read.
such a short amount of time, I didn't even have to crack a new natural light.
It's true.
You know, we are in my basement. Thank God I'm bringing a little bit more natural light to the scene. All right. Now I'm embarrassed. Terrible joke.
It's gonna be
Terrible
a
joke.
rough night.
Ready for me to start this up?
But I can't help but notice it's about 11 minutes in, and we have not done good news yet.
Damn it, Sean. We need some good news.
We do need some good news, don't we?
And we do.
And this one is nice because it is a very local story.
Yep.
As well as someone who listens to the show.
Yep. Of probably our best listener.
Yeah.
Biggest fan.
Yeah, one of them out there for sure.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I thought it would be nice to read a story that hits a little bit closer to home. So, the post that is shared is actually just from someone else. So, backstory, we've talked about Junior on the show before,
Yep.
and his battle that is ongoing. And
Just got an awesome chair recently.
yep, so
With the wheels. I mean, it was a freaking awesome video.
yep, like a walker fitted so that he can actually get more mobile.
Yep.
And it was nice that Aaliyah had been looking for someone to go pick one up from Cincinnati and found a couple who was willing to drive down and pick it up and brought it back for him. And this is from the person, I believe, who actually had the walker that they picked up from down there. So just a real quick read. My emotions have been moved to tears by this couple right here. Remember the gate trainer I shared earlier this month in search of a child who could use it? Well, we located a little boy, Junior, who contracted bacterial meningitis where he was hospitalized for 6 months and had 17 brain surgeries and a stroke. Junior's mom said he wasn't supposed to make it, but he did, and they said he would never walk again, and he started to walk with a little help in therapy. Aaliyah, Junior's mom, and myself have been messaging back and forth trying to coordinate delivery from Ohio to Michigan. Today, the sweetest couple, pictured below, showed up at my house from Michigan. Turns out this gentleman, who I didn't even catch his name, had a double lung transplant last year, and is also a walking miracle. They saw a post from Aaliyah who was asking if anyone traveling in the area could pick it up and bring it to Michigan. They said they've been so blessed by their donor that they too wish to pay it forward. All of the feel-good stuff reminds me of the speech that Jim Valvano gave at the 1993 ESPY Awards. It's my all-time favorite for so many reasons. Jim Valvano's 3 things to do in life every day: laugh, think, and cry. And there's a link that we'll include to the story, as well as some of the video of Junior getting to use it and pictures included.
Yeah,
with
the
that,
videos
so.
are great. I really appreciated watching those.
It is. It was awesome to see, and awesome that you get that kind of progress. And great that, like I said, we could have good news that was something that we can easily relate to.
Very close to home, and I love the idea that people are paying it forward. I don't know how close to Aaliyah that couple is, but it just seemed like they were a couple that saw it and wanted to do that.
Yeah, acted on it.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times do we talk about the more you look for opportunities to do nice things, the more they'll present themselves to you, because it's like the universe knows that you're open and receptive to them.
Mm-hmm.
And paying it forward is a good part of kindness, gratitude, all of those good feelings
Everything
that tie
mixed
in
in.
together. Yep.
Yep.
When you feel grateful for things, you're more wanting to extend those helping hands to people. You want other people to feel the same. Isn't that your frat thing?
Yeah, the help, extend the helping hand. Sorry, if you're not on YouTube, I am doing the hand motion for extending the helping hand.
From his fraternity days,
Hey,
as you might know if you
my
listen
fraternity
to
was
Ben's
very
story.
philanthropic.
It's nice that it does genuinely seem to be that way.
It's in our bylaws.
A fraternity that I might get behind.
Whenever a person or a brother is in need, always do what you can to extend a helping hand.
Yep.
It's the way we should all live.
It's
And
true.
And I think that's in a lot of people's mentalities. It's ingrained in human nature. Oftentimes, it's ingrained in a lot of establishments, companies, organizations. to quote unquote extend the helping hand or to help those in need, the golden rule. I think we all believe that. If you boil down a lot of religions, you'll find that at the core of it, it's do to others as you have others do unto you.
Yeah.
And I just think that when you extend the helping hand or pay it forward, however you say it, that's when you really find the true gratitude in your soul.
And
because you're grateful you're able to do that.
Right. Feeling that connectedness between people, too. I can just say, speaking on my own personal experiences of it, it's some of like the most rewarding, fulfilling feelings that you get. You know, doing something for someone else without any expectation of anything coming back to you. Just doing it for the sake of doing good, putting good into the world, and knowing that you're making the world a slightly better place than where you found it.
Yeah, paying it forward has helped me find the most gratitude in my life, because as soon as I'm able to pay it forward, I look back and say, well, at least I was able to do that for somebody. They weren't able to. I'm grateful I was.
Yeah.
And then I'm grateful for, what came out of it. And then I'm grateful to know this person, to be able to do it for them. Just grateful for the whole experience. You know, it really exudes gratitude when you pay it forward. It sounds a little bit off kilter, but it's true.
Yeah.
When you're able to do something for somebody else, you should be thankful that you are.
Yep.
You don't have to be, but at least that's how I feel.
Yeah.
It causes me to feel that way.
Yep. Grateful that you're in a position that you're able to do something, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think it's...
there's a lot of science behind it.
Right, and is a good segue for jumping into an article all about gratitude and where it takes you. You want to start this one off, Ben, since I read all of the last one?
Yeah, I did make you. Okay, yeah, this one is good. It's a great article. This one comes to us from the Daily Health Post. You can find them at dailyhealthpost.com. This one's called Neuroscience Reveals Gratitude Literally Rewires Your Brain to Be Happier.
It makes so much sense.
It really does. Literally rewires your brain.
When you look at me, it makes sense that it does make you just a little bit happier.
A little bit. It starts off and says, when you say thank you, do you really mean it, or is it just politeness to which you give little attention? Neuroscientists have found that if you really feel it when you say it, you'll be happier and healthier. The regular practice of expressing gratitude is not a new age fad. It's a facet in the human condition that reaps true benefits to those who mean it. Psychologist Dr. Robert Emmons of the University of California at Davis and Dr. Michael McCullough of the University of Miami published a study in 2015 that looked at the physical outcomes of practicing gratitude. 1/3 of the subjects in the study were asked to keep a daily journal of things that happened during the week for which they were grateful. Another third was asked to write down daily irritations or events that had displeased them. The last third of the group was asked to write down daily situations and events with no emphasis on either positive or negative emotional attachment. At the end of the 10-week study, each group was asked to record how they felt physically and generally about life.
The gratitude group reported feeling more optimistic and positive about their lives than the other groups. In addition, the gratitude group was more physically active and reported fewer visits to the doctor than those who wrote about their negative experiences. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting to me that it's a really simple baseline experiment, you know? But how many people do you know who do spend their day, and the people who are writing down a list of complaints, well, like a lot of people just vent and complain and put all of that negativity out throughout the day. Just because you're not making a list of it doesn't mean you're not constantly making a mental list of it.
It is the easier route to go.
Right? And just writing it down has more of that, I don't know, even driving home the negativity of it. Because it's bad enough when you're just thinking about it and talking about it, but actually having to like manifest it in writing.
Well, let's take a look at it. I think it goes into it deeper in the article too, but you said earlier, even in this show, that when you're looking for positivity, you will find it, or when you're looking for ways to pay it forward, you will find it. Well, this study literally has, 3/3. It's got 1/3 looking for times when they were grateful, 1/3 looking for times where they were irritated, and 1/3 just documenting their day.
Yeah, just being an observation.
Obviously, this shows right there that the group that was told to find times during their day when they were grateful, they found more
Mm-hmm.
because they were looking for it. You tell somebody to write down times during your day when you're grateful, they're going to be thinking about it all day. They're
Is this one
thinking
of the
about
things
it
going to be on the
constantly.
list? Is this one of the things that's going to be
They're
on the
always
list?
thinking about it, and I think it gets into it a little bit deeper lately, a little bit later in the article about people who were constantly thinking about the irritation. But
Yeah.
You want to continue?
Other research into the physical effects of gratitude report even more tangible results. Focusing on the positive and feeling grateful can improve your sleep quality and reduce feelings of anxiety and depression. 2. Furthermore, levels of gratitude correlate to better moods and less fatigue and inflammation, reducing the risk of heart failure even for those who are susceptible. The reasons why gratitude is so impactful to health and well-being begin in the brain. In a neurological experiment conducted by researchers at the University of California at Los Angeles, brain activity was measured using magnetic resonance imaging as subjects were induced to feel gratitude by receiving gifts. The area of the brain showing increased activity were the anterior cingulate cortex and medial prefrontal cortex. I almost did it seamlessly.
It was pretty good.
Almost. Those associated with moral and social cognition, reward, empathy, and value judgment. This led to the conclusion that the emotion of gratitude supports a positive and supportive attitude towards others and a feeling of relief from the stressors.
Gratitude activates the hypothalamus as well, with downstream effects on metabolism, stress, and various behaviors. The hypothalamus is located at the base of the brain and regulates hormones responsible for many critical functions such as body temperature, emotional responses, and survival functions like appetite and sleep. One of the neurochemicals associated with the part of the brain affected by gratitude is dopamine, a pleasure hormone. The positive influence of gratitude on mental health continues past a particular event if the emotion is relived. Quote, a simple gratitude writing intervention was associated with significantly greater and lasting neural sensitivity to gratitude subjects who participated in gratitude letter writing, showed both behavioral increases in gratitude and significantly greater neural modulation by gratitude in the medial prefrontal cortex 3 months later. Let's kind of make that English.
Right? Unwrap it a little bit.
Right. So from what I'm reading, the people who were writing down the things that they were grateful for were significantly more often more sensitive to seeing what they were grateful for in their daily lives.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Am I reading that correct?
Yeah, and
I mean, I can only speak so much of this Latin.
Right. that's why like I said, it's nice that for a lot of people, out there, it's just enough to know that it leaves you feeling better.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's just cool to see science coming into it too, and mm-hmm. actually saying, like, not only does it leave you feeling better, but it actually makes the parts of your brain that relate to emotion and stress and anxiety, they light up differently when you're feeling gratitude.
It literally rewires the brain.
Right. And it makes it fire in a way that mm-hmm. makes you more receptive to it and to want it more.
Yeah. That's what's so exciting about this whole article.
Right.
We're not even done.
In fact, this lasting effect is psychologically protective. In adolescence, feelings of gratitude have shown an inverse correlation with bullying, victimization, and suicide risks. Gratitude affects brain function on a chemical level, and its practice promotes feelings of self-worth as well as compassion to others. We can perceive and experience gratitude in its many characteristics in a very broad spectrum. Openness and willingness to experience gratitude affects not only the individual, but his or her interpersonal relationships. A common strain in relationships is caused by repeated negative feedback by one or both partners without offsetting gratitude. It's crazy that it just walked through, and on here it's nice because they're numbered, literally 9 things that are positive impacts that gratitude has on the brain.
Yeah.
And the science and the chemicals behind it.
Mm-hmm. And it's true. If you look at even that last one, I think is important for a lot of people. A lot of people think, the more relationships you've been in, the older you are, the wiser you become in being in a relationship physically and in a loving relationship. But to think about it, like a lot of strain is caused by if you're looking at your partner all the time, and you're saying, "Man, I wish you'd take out the garbage more often." And instead of thinking, "I'm so happy that this person comes home and is here to talk with me every day
and does this or
and
does
does
this.
this and does this." Of course, you can always yell at your spouse for not emptying the dishwasher.
Not doing more.
Yeah, not doing more. But when you look at it as, and you can always strive to have that person do a little bit more, whatever. But when you're not looking at them and just saying the negatives, the real positive relationships that I've seen in my, my young 28 years are people that say, "Oh, well, he's a little crazy. She's a little wild. This person doesn't clean up after themselves." They're still saying, "I'm so thankful to have this person. They do this for me. They really make me happy. I love their wild side." Looking at the positive aspects of it. Nobody's perfect.
Yep. Well, I've also found too, I mean, the more you express that gratitude, the more people want to aim to do better anyway.
Mhm.
You don't have to be upset because they're not doing X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
When you're grateful because they're doing A, B, and C, they're more likely to want to at least try doing D, E, and F.
Right. Because they're not sitting there thinking about how you're so upset with them about not doing X, Y, and Z.
Yep.
At least that's how I work in my daily life. If I'm showing, "Hey, thanks for trying hard.
Thanks for doing this. Thank you for doing
we
this.
can work on this."
Yep.
Then I'm like, "All right, I will." But if somebody says, "You're shit, you're shit, and you're not doing anything good," I'm like, "You know what? You're right. So peace."
Yeah.
Big difference, and I see that in my daily life.
Yep, and it's why it's so important to feel that gratitude.
Yep.
And unfortunately, there are a lot of cases where it's not expressed properly.
Oh yeah.
It's because, like you said, it's way too easy to focus on the negatives. It's
Mhm.
easy to let that dictate your thoughts and let that be your consciousness all the time. Is seeing all of the bad and not wanting to acknowledge the good that's there.
It's all how you start your day.
But
We
nice
finish
thing
off with-
is that there are proactive things you can do to make sure the gratitude is a part of your life. And as we're coming into 2020, the start of a new decade, the start of a new year, want to make sure that we're giving you oh, dang.
Hopefully you get better in 2020.
Right.
And you're not sick.
Yeah, well, you were sick last time, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to avoid you and not getting that. So I guess having something stuck in my throat is not that terrible.
No, it's not that terrible. Glad you got water.
Right. As you go into 2020, we want you to bring a lot of these tools with you to start the year, because feeling gratitude, as we just list off the many of the positive benefits that it extends to, maybe you're a little better at tackling those workouts or watching the diet or whatever it is going into the year, and making sure that gratitude is a part of all of those different avenues that you're trying to approach. So
the big one for me is being grateful for my family.
Yep.
That's been a huge one for me in 2019. 2019 has been a really rough year. So is 2018 and so is 2017. But 2019 has caused me to be more grateful for my family, and I feel closer to all of them, having been cognizant on a daily basis of how thankful I am for them.
Yep.
So that's my growth. But
so what are 3 steps to becoming more grateful, Ben?
we gave people the science behind what it can do for you. And if you want to start, here's 3 steps to becoming more grateful. The article says, in times of hardship or stress, it might seem difficult to be grateful. But if you really think about it, we all have something to be grateful for. If you engage in only one prayer, let it be simply a heartfelt thank you. Here are 3 easy ways to put yourself in the mindfulness of gratitude. Number 1, keep a daily journal of things you are grateful for. List at least 3. The best times for writing in your journal are in the morning as your day begins, or at night before sleep. I personally like doing both.
Mm-hmm.
You can wake up and instantly you start yourself off on a good note, or when you're done with the day, you can be happy with the way your day went. Even if it was a shitty day, you've got 3 things that you're grateful for.
Yep.
Both are great options.
Yep. Do it on your phone. Do it on a real pad and paper.
Do it mentally if you don't have any of that.
Right.
But just think about it.
See, I like the idea, though, of actually, for the practice of it, putting it physical, because it becomes like a running list that you can actually, to keep going through and being oh, wow, I did this for 30 days and now I have 90 things that I'm grateful for that I can look at any time.
I've kept a journal for quite a bit now, and it's crazy for me to look back and I can see my roller coaster of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
on a day-to-day basis. And when I look at it, it really puts me into perspective, trying to calm that roller coaster, saying, look, at this day you were really great and the next day you were really bad. Why? Let's discuss it. Why was it like that? Let's, I think keeping a journal is very, very, very important.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't necessarily have to journal like a full day's worth, but to have a running list of just every day you add 3 things to it that you're grateful for.
My friend uses sticky notes and they put them on the fridge.
Yep.
He and his wife. Honestly, write 3 things you're grateful for, put it on the fridge. Write 1 thing you're grateful for, put it on the fridge.
Yep, keep that and then put it in a drawer and keep them all together, or the idea of throwing them all in a jar, having a gratitude jar that you just compile Post-it notes in.
You know what the real turning point is when you need a bigger jar.
Right?
That's the real one,
Yep.
So number 2, make it a point to tell people in your life what you appreciate about them on a daily basis. And that goes back to me and my family.
Mm-hmm. And this is one that I really do try to focus on. I try and keep people in my life knowing that I focus on the positives, that they're always, always, always adding up to far more than anything that ever lets me down, human nature is that we all do things to hurt other people, no matter what you do. Nobody's perfect. You're always going to say something wrong. There's always going to be something that you do that messes up. But when you focus more on what people do well for you, when you focus on the positives in your relationships and stuff, it's inevitable that that's where your happiness comes from in them, like the article said, if you're always looking at the negatives, it's much easier to feel like the accumulation of the relationship is a negative one,
No, I completely agree. And I could go off for hours on that specific point right there. But what do you say we move on to number 3?
Sure.
Number 3, when you look in the mirror, give yourself a moment to think about a quality you like about yourself or something you have recently accomplished.
Positive affirmations are a tough one for people.
They are very, very difficult, and you know that, and I think a lot of our listeners know that I myself am terrible at them.
Mm-hmm.
I get down on myself quite often. We just got I wouldn't say we got in an argument upstairs, but I was being very, very negative upstairs, talking about things that I've been told I'm not doing well, and it's tough for me to say anything, I take it personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tough when you take it personally, but if you give yourself positive affirmations in the morning, you know that there's something that you're doing right.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing it right for yourself, that's all you really need, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think that the positive affirmations, even though they might seem dumb, even though it feels weird.
It's weird.
It is, but
talking to yourself in the mirror, you think, am I crazy?
Right, but
am I crazy?
But it's huge. Like, you really do have to retrain your brain to think highly of yourself. Mm-hmm. That, and a lot of people put on a false bravado, that cockiness that you see in people when confidence transcends into arrogance, exactly. And a lot of people struggle with that balance of it, but you do, at the end of the day, you can't lie to yourself, and when there's a big difference between standing in a mirror and looking at yourself alone and telling you you're good and you're smart and you're capable of these things, as opposed to doing it in someone's face while feeling like you're putting them down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't agree more. Let's wrap it up. Through the power of gratitude, you can wire your brain to be optimistic and compassionate, making you feel good. That's that good selfishness we've talked about many a times.
Yeah.
The more you look, the more you can find to be grateful for. This positivity can extend to those around you, creating a virtuous cycle. And I feel like that's what we talk about every freaking episode. And
right.
Sean, so a little bit of gratitude does branch off of you, just as negativity does. Have you ever been around somebody that's super negative and
sucks the life out of a room?
Sucks the life out of everybody.
Yep.
But just a little bit of positivity from someone, a smile, can go a long way. I go out of my way to try and smile at people, wave at people as I'm driving by in my neighborhood we've talked about. I get real mad if people don't wave back, but I try not to. But smiling at people in Myers, people are saying, oh, sorry about that. I say, hey, it's not a problem. Just that little bit hopefully makes people feel it a little bit more too. Because I want people to do that for me. That's why I do it in general.
Right, and
That's the
You
golden
get
rule,
what
I
you
guess.
give in this
Yeah,
world.
get what you give.
I love that the last little part talked about mindfulness because mindfulness kind of ties into meditation for me. And we have a nice short 2-minute video that just kind of ties into the article that we just read
And goes a
perfectly,
little deeper.
right? And hits on another couple of things. So I think that it's a very good addition because I will say if you have at all put any consideration into meditation, please use 2020 as the start of it because it's another thing that's life-changing. It's another thing that just drives home being present in the moment, gratitude, all of those things are very rooted in meditation.
You will not hover off the ground.
Right.
You will not find nirvana.
You won't be impervious to pain like the monks of Tibet.
Right. But taking time in silence to calm the brain and not think about anything is something that's very, very difficult. Unfortunately, it's too difficult for some people, but it is very difficult. But once you get there, it's all worth it. Just like a lot of things in life. You got to work at it, but once you get to it, it's very, very, very worth it.
Yep. So why don't we jump into that audio for them, Ben?
All right, hold on just a minute.
I was about to give Ben a compliment about being on top of things right as he messed up and didn't hit the record
Sorry,
button.
my finger didn't hit it hard enough.
That's okay.
This is a really good one. This is the... Oh.
Cheers.
If you haven't heard that in a while, here we are. Because the first time I did it in this episode, we had to go back and re-record.
Yep.
But this one goes into the science of gratitude. It's called The Science of Gratitude.
What a coincidence.
Who would have thought? This is by Tremendousness. You can find them on YouTube.
Yeah, I like how there are quite a few videos out there about the science of gratitude. So dig into it a little bit more if you're interested.
And this one goes over a lot of the facts that we already talked about in the last article, but it goes into a couple
different
more
details.
things too.
Yeah,
and it just goes to show, like, if you read one thing about positivity or gratitude, trust me, there's hundreds of other things out there. There's a lot of crops to sow.
Yep, and we talk about gratitude a lot because you can never talk about it enough. You know, it'll probably be a regular focus of this show because I always want to remind you guys that it's so important that you feel it in your everyday life. Promote what you love, don't bash what you hate. I say it all the time, don't I, Ben?
I wish that would have been on the podcast. But we'll start in and we'll listen to this. What do you think?
Yep.
Research shows that adopting an attitude of gratitude, simply expressing appreciation and being more thankful, can measurably improve your overall well-being. For example, studies prove that gratitude can increase happiness, reduce depression, and strengthen resiliency. Grateful people
Multiple
often
people are
experience
saying
reduced
it.
blood pressure, less chronic pain, increased energy, even longer lives. People who purposefully express more gratitude report higher self-esteem than those who don't, and they're more likely to help others. A pro-social behavior also linked to
Paying it
greater
forward.
happiness. People who capture grateful thoughts before bed sleep better than those who don't. Why so many positive changes? Because gratitude actually rewires our brains, kickstarting the production of dopamine and
Literally
serotonin.
rewires.
Like
do you know?
antidepressants, these feel-good neurotransmitters activate the bliss center of the brain, creating feelings of happiness and contentment. This appears to be self-perpetuating. Research suggests that with regular practice, you'll train your prefrontal cortex to better appreciate and retain positive experiences and to deflect the negative ones. Here are a few simple ways to deliberately cultivate that attitude of gratitude. Celebrate minor accomplishments. Think about what you have rather than dwelling on what you don't. Tell the people in your life something you appreciate about them. Tell yourself too.
What a coincidence.
Volunteer. Hold a door for a stranger. Or
Volunteering.
simply smile more and you'll probably feel better, as kindness and giving are connected to gratitude. Similar positive brain changes can occur from regular meditation and mindfulness. Keep a daily gratitude journal using an old-fashioned notebook or a high-tech app. The science is clear. Give gratitude a go. You'll be thankful you did.
Sorry, YouTube. I love when a plan comes together.
It does. It's almost like they were speaking to each other.
Right.
Our article in this video here.
Those were perfectly in sync with each other to just reinforce all the things we said and add in a couple new added
A few
bonuses.
sprinkles on top.
Meditation.
And I know one that you're super strong about is what?
Meditation, as I started to talk about earlier, is a big part of my daily life, is a big part of pausing to be in the moment, even if it's just temporary feeling of someone cut you off in traffic. 5 to 10 seconds of meditation or 5 to 10 seconds of focused deep breathing. Eliminate that stress from your life right on the spot. Drop the negativity. Meditation is a big crutch to that. And
Well, see, let's break it down a little bit too, because I don't think people would consider breathing after an angry event or something that made you frustrated to be meditation. A lot of people call it self-control or like taking a step back, but even like road rage is a great example, like you brought up. Somebody cuts you off and you're really pissed off, but instead you breathe for 5 seconds and then exhale, and you have a different mindset than before you breathed in and held it for a minute. That is meditation.
Yep, and
Breaking down what meditation is, some people think it has to be an hour of you sitting and listening to
Yep.
It's not.
Well, and that's what I was
doesn't
about
have
to
to
say, is that you can break meditation down into its simplest form of just like maybe you start off 10 times a day of just a minute. You know what I mean? Just set a timer on your phone of 60 seconds and just focus on it. And I promise you, even in that 60 seconds, your mind is going to wander. You're going to lose focus of just breathing, and you just draw yourself back into it. But you do 10 individual minute sections throughout the day, and that feels much better than trying to sit for 10 minutes.
Especially
and
if
piece
you're
it
just
out.
starting.
Right, exactly. In the beginning, take it slow. How many times on this show do we talk about baby steps?
I'm just telling you, I have gotten into meditation because of you and a book that I see you've already written down.
Yep.
But for me, there's a couple of meditation apps out there. For the life of me, I cannot remember them off the top of my head. And we're recording on my phone, unfortunately. But I get about 3 seconds in before my brain wanders off.
Yeah.
Literally 3 seconds in.
Yep.
And I bring it back. And then I sit for another 3 seconds and it wanders off and I bring it back. I'm still at the very, very infant stages of meditation. I haven't found myself being able to go a full 60 seconds within myself, focusing on my breathing and being present.
Yep.
I can't currently, but I still see myself growing in my meditative journey.
Right. Well, and I think that's one of the coolest things to me about meditation is that you never get it perfection. You don't ever have a time where you sit down for 10 minutes or a half hour or an hour and just have 100% concentrated meditation. It doesn't happen. Meditation teaches you that you're going to fail over and over and over again, but as long as you stick with it, that's actually success. It's an accumulation of failures that mount up to a successful meditation. And being okay with that is something that a lot of people struggle with in life in general, is being okay with failing, being okay with subpar, sometimes that it's never going to be perfect, but you can be grateful that you gave it a go, that you put in an effort, that you did it, and you actually concentrated on doing it. And the book that you were talking about, 10% Happier by Dan Harris, is a book that I promote regularly because it just takes meditation and makes it really simple. Like the title says, 10% happier. Meditation is not a Band-Aid fix-all. It's not surgery, it doesn't take care of everything. You're never going to be enlightened. You're not going to have that because we live in a Western world of speed and now and all of that stuff, but it absolutely can make you 10% happier. And if you have that kind of an expectation, it's much more realistic to actually achieve it as well.
I've seen it as, and I was just talking to my mother and my brother about it the other day, but I'm very grateful for the doctor that I go to, Dr. Snell here in Grand Haven. He talks about health as a pie chart and how exercise, spirituality, positivity, your diet, things like that, all go into the pie chart of how you're living and how healthy you are. And I think meditation is a part of that pie chart.
Yep.
It goes along with your mentality. It's 10% happier. It's a piece of that pie. It really is. And when you get all those pieces of the pie to get you to close to 100%, you know that you're living in a good place.
Yep.
And I know people that are close to 100%, or at least they seem that way on an outward appearance, but just keep trying to build your pie chart. For me, it comes down to exercise, diet, thinking more positively, being more grateful, more meditation. I'm just trying to grow all these pieces until my pie is as good as it can be.
Yeah, lots of ingredients in it.
There's a lot of ingredients in the attitude of being a positive human being.
And that, again, comes back to, like, our conversation with Scott, the tools in your toolbox.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yep, I loved that.
And fill in your toolbox with all the necessary tools to carry with you to fight your day. And
it takes the jobs where you don't have the right tool to realize you need to go out and get that tool.
Yep.
And that's a terrible analogy. I'm a professional.
You know what? For all of the terrible analogies you drop on the show, Ben, that one was very fitting.
Really?
I give you credit for that.
Thank
it was
you,
a
guys.
good analogy.
We spoke about it last episode, how I always run off on a tangent that makes no sense.
Yep.
But that's something I've realized from Scott's analogy, where you got is the tools in your toolbox. So how many people take on a project? Say you're working on your car, your plumbing, or your electrical, or physical jobs you're working on. All of a sudden you're like, shoot, I don't have this tool. You do some research, you find out what tool you need, you go and get that tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's much easier when it's a material tool, but think about it in your daily and physical and emotional life as well. You deal with these issues. And thankfully for us, let's say we go through a really trying time, such as a death or a loss of a job or anything like that. It doesn't even have to be that bad, but you instantly, if you make it through, you have now acquired a new tool in your toolbox that you didn't have before.
Yep. It's really tough, but facing adversity is a huge part of life and a huge asset to your toolbox. It gives you a lot of the tools that you didn't know you otherwise needed.
You told me that upstairs, and I disagreed with you, and now I'm agreeing with you.
I did, and I just had to walk you into agreeing with me down here for the sake of doing it.
See, it's hard to see it in the moment.
It is, yeah.
It's very hard.
Yep.
I was talking about a little bit of tough times I'm dealing with right now up with Sean upstairs, and how, it's something I've never experienced before. And then here I am talking about it myself like an idiot.
And getting back to the original point of that,
Yeah.
it is something where you can find the positive from it. It's not all negative. Yes, it's negative, and yes, we can acknowledge that it's negative because that's being realistic, but it's not the shitstorm that you think it is.
And who's Dan Harris, by the way? Just so people out there know that it's not just some random author. Dan Harris is somebody that most people maybe recognize the name.
The Weekend Good Morning America. He is the voice of that.
You may remember him having that slight breakdown on live television where some people thought he had a stroke or something
he had
like
a panic
that.
attack.
All of a sudden he was just mumbling bunch of jargon.
Yeah.
Just blah, 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 blah.
And now he's regularly on YouTube on those clips of news anchors messing up.
Yeah, but still, he acknowledges that in his book, and he talks about his whole journey. If you do go to read this book, get through at least a third of it. I promise you, it's a lot of backstory at first, but it's necessary to help you through the other 2/3 of the book.
Yeah, and as soon as you get through his backstory, the points that he makes about meditation, how it affected his life, how it's helped him, and how it can help you are all fantastic.
Absolutely.
Totally worth the read. But I also liked in that audio that we listened to about volunteering being a part of that. That was another added spot that was not in the other article that we read. Volunteering and how, in fact, kindness in turn are hand in hand with gratitude, and that they make you more appreciative for life. They make you feel other people's situations and circumstances in a totally different way, especially now going into the holiday season and coming into the new year. Make that a part of your life and watch how your life gets better.
Yeah, I was blessed enough where in high school we had mandatory volunteering.
I did not, and I was only 3 years old.
Well, it's kind of funny, mandatory volunteering. Thinking about that oxymoron, but
it's like court ordered,
right? Court ordered self. What are they? Community service. Yeah, court. So I was lucky enough in high school where my friend Connor and Brody and I went. And we were putting together bikes for kids that were being donated for Christmas, and we were sitting there, and there was maybe 50 of us. I mean, a huge thing. I think it was in Grand Rapids, putting together bikes for these kids. And, I was only 17, 18 years old sitting there. And then by the end of it, I'm thinking, man, at first I was bummed out to come here, but we're all laughing and having a good time. And I realized that we're giving these bikes away.
Yep.
I was also blessed in my fraternity to be able to help out with different philanthropic events. And it is a good bit of selfishness, because once you get into it, it's exciting. You get addicted. How can I help? How can I volunteer? I'm currently looking right now to see if I want to help join the Boys and Girls Club or whatever, the Big Brother Big
Yep.
Sisters. I think that would be great for me. I haven't necessarily taken those steps yet, but I really enjoy volunteering. It's just finding that time and making that time. But once you get it, you get addicted to it, just
Yeah.
like so many other things that are positive for your life.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an attitude of gratitude, and it's I love that turn of phrase because it's easy to remember and it's tough to hold on to.
It is. So many good things in life, like eating well, exercising, being positive, volunteering, being grateful every day, not flying off the handle with people that you've grown accustomed to, like family and close friends. They're all so easy to fall off of. Once you get good at them, you're good at them. But I'm telling you what, somebody who's been in the gym for 3 years, 30 years, it's still really easy for that person to skip a day.
Yep.
It happens, but don't let it stop you from continuing on that journey you started in the first place.
Yep. A day off doesn't have to turn into 3.
Exactly. Yep, I hear it all the time, but I'm still trying to grasp it myself.
Yep. We all are, and we're all doing different struggles. We say it all the time. Everybody's fighting their own battles. Just be nice.
But it's all about the attitude of gratitude. Sean, I think it's been at least 3 or 4 episodes since I've asked you on the spot, what are 3 things you're grateful for right now?
I'm coming into my down season, so I have a lot more time to myself.
Down for your career.
Yeah.
Not necessarily your personality.
Right.
Because for me, we could say my down season for my personality.
That's true, yeah. So I slow down for work. I can put more time into this podcast, which is something that I really enjoy doing. We have a couple new avenues out there to try and get more recognition for the podcast, gain more listeners, all those kind of things.
Community events and things like that.
Yep.
Trying to break Guinness World Records.
Yep. We're setting goals for 2020, and I like that I can make this show a part of it. I have a job that allows me that kind of freedom and extra time to myself. I do enjoy the Christmas season. I love giving gifts. That's one of my favorite things in this world is giving gifts to people. So I always dress up like Santa and give all the gifts to my nieces and nephews dressed up like Santa. And
That's
we'll take a
awesome.
group picture together. So that's always something that I'm grateful for. Family, obviously.
That's awesome.
Yep, the Christmas season. Family, friends, relationships, Margie.
Yeah.
All good stuff this time of year, and it's all things that I know I'm grateful for. What about you, Ben?
I think 3 things I'm thankful for. 1, I don't live in Minnesota.
Yeah, worse than here.
It is. So I'm grateful that even though there's snow outside and I had to scrape my car today, that I made it. I'm still alive, and it could have been worse.
Yep.
I'm starting to get to really understand that. People who have been listening probably remember me 10, 12 episodes ago just screaming mad. Just, it's cold as hell, sorry.
Well, even our first episodes were all upset because it was like March or April and it was still snow on the ground.
Snowing, yeah. Another thing I'm grateful for, I am very grateful to have the family that I have. It is small. I'd say the family that I see often and talk to often is less than 8 people. It's very small. I do have more than that I reach out to, occasionally throughout the year, but I have a small family in general. But I'm so thankful that the ones that I do have are very heartfelt, and they mean such a big, they're such a big part of my life.
Yep.
I'm also very, very grateful that it's the holiday season, and that even though it does create stress, and I sit here and think, is this really what Christmas is all about? I sound like Charlie Brown or Cindy Lou Who. I'm that guy, okay? Because I'm sitting here like, why do we have to stress? Why do we have to get everybody a gift? Why do we got to do all this? I'm grateful that I'm able to. There's not a time in my day where I think I can't give somebody a gift. And I think even somebody who's broke and poor and literally has $0 or negative dollars to their name, they can find a way to give somebody a gift if they think about it, because they can just give the gift of their own positivity or their own help. And I'm grateful that I can go one step further and actually get somebody something material or thoughtful to give to them to let them know how much they mean to me. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to do that.
Yep. Being nice costs you nothing and is absolutely priceless.
Yeah. I don't want to hear anybody saying Christmas is too expensive. It doesn't have to be. I promise somebody giving you something that's $100, $200 you can make something that costs you way less than that is just as meaningful to a person if you get to actually know the person and understand them. My grandmother would appreciate a paper ornament from her 28-year-old grandson more than she would appreciate an iPad, and I know that for a fact because she told me that.
Yep.
And you've got the wealth to give somebody something they're yearning for. Just go out and do it.
Because time is the most valuable thing we have. And people appreciate when you give them yours.
It really is the most valuable gift you can give somebody is your time.
Yeah, well, and it's one of the reasons why I'm so incredibly grateful for all of our listeners out there, the people who give us their time each week, week in, week out.
Dozens of hours at this point. Yeah, if you've listened to all of our episodes and you're listening
You're
to this right now,
over 35 hours of listening.
Yeah, if you've listened to all of them, thank you. And if this is your first one, thank you.
Yeah.
You've given us your time. We can't be more grateful.
Yep. And it's important that you know that. It's important that you know you're loved. Maybe you haven't heard that recently. I always stress that we want to make sure our listeners know how important they are to us. Mm-hmm. The fact that there is a good group of you out there who week in and week out start your week with the BOWA Show. To see our spike in numbers immediately
every
on Monday morning, where it's like, boom. We count on these people who are actually starting their week with this, starting their day off with it, and you guys are the ones who keep us coming back time and time again. So please know how important you are, how valuable you are. If you're questioning that at all, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always there to remind you of it. And if I can speak to you personally, I'll make it way better than just this random overtone of the show that I like to give people every week.
I love Monday mornings because I get to see those numbers, but I also listen to our podcasts on Monday mornings.
I do. We got to make sure our audio doesn't suck.
Well, that's one thing too. Yeah. I definitely do listen to it before Monday to check our audio and whatnot. We have had some slip-ups, but that's why I listen now.
I also love when people tell us about them, though. It's like, oh, sweet, you're listening so closely that you notice that little mic glitch right there.
I also love how we see number spikes on Mondays, and we think, look at all these people who are starting their weeks off with the BOWA Show, just like me.
Yep, and then throughout the week you get the trickle-in listens, and people where you're like,
community. We wanted to create a positive community, no matter how small. We're building it, and that's why I'm happy.
And it's real. It's something that I'm really grateful for. Mm-hmm. You know what else I'm grateful for?
Tell me.
Comedy.
Oh, shoot. This is a good one, too.
Yep, nice short, quick banger for you.
I never heard of this guy before, but the Laugh Factory had him. His name's KT Tatera. This
Link
one,
in the description.
This one may not be PG.
Yeah, don't let your kids listen to it.
Yeah, if you got kids in the car, it's a good time to pause.
It's about 3 minutes, so you can skip ahead to the end of the show.
Yeah, this is some great adult humor. What do you say? Will we give it a listen?
That's right. Enjoy.
I like cutting this every time. Sorry, YouTube. Another cut.
These pauses don't affect YouTube at all.
No. Oh, literally, it's
Did you fart?
I may have.
Oh, I think you did.
I definitely did.
You just wafted it back over here. Woo!
I apologize.
YouTube catches that. You don't get to hear that on the fuck. Oh.
Sorry, homie. Shit happens.
Oh.
That's my bad. Here, I'll fix it. Now it's raspberry. Raspberry furt.
Yep, that's better.
Raspberry furt. All right, comedy. Some more besides my furts.
Take a listen.
I believe in equality for men and women. I really stand for that, man. Like, I went on a date with this girl recently. She wanted me to pay, and I have a strict no-paying policy on the first day, okay? Oh, I'm sorry, ladies. I thought you're all INDEPENDENC. Do you know what that means? It means you can pay for some shit, okay? That's a rap song, in case you know I spelled it out. Independent, ask a black person, whatever you gotta do, all right? There you go. I'm saying, look, we don't know each other. Why don't we just split it, see what happens, right? If I had to be your boyfriend, I'll buy you stuff. I'm not against paying ever. I'm just saying on the first date, how about no pressure, right? This girl got mad. She's like, oh my God, you're such a cheap guy. I think the guy should pay. I mean, I'm just old-fashioned. And I felt bad. I was like, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm old-fashioned too. So how about you shut your fucking mouth? Hey, you're so fast. Why don't you put on an apron? I'll pay for the meal when you make it. How about that? I mean, stop voting. morning. I'm just taking shit in the woods. I mean, how far back you want to go with this remember the time stuff, huh?
Someone's not getting laid tonight.
Oh, you're selectively traditional. I see. Okay. I've been single now for 10 years successfully. Thank you very
Makes
much.
sense. Same.
I say successfully because it's hard to be single for that long, right? Girls try to use it against you. Oh, that's why you don't have a girlfriend. That's why you're saying, it's easy to have a girl. What, I just got to get yelled at and be wrong all the time? I can do that. Come on. It's easy to have a girlfriend, right? Here's the thing. I just don't like in relationships, it's always a power struggle, right? Like in the beginning of the relationship, who's in control, the man or the woman? What do you guys think? Yeah, I see. Oh, my man. Dudes don't say anything. Oh, yeah, the woman. Blah. You know what? I think the dude's in control in the beginning. When the girl's in charge of the sex, you regulate the flaps or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, you control that. But dudes are in control of the relationship. You know why? Because girls generally are pretty indecisive in the beginning, right? It's always like, what movie you want to see? I don't know. You pick. Do you want to stay in or go out tonight? I don't know. You decide. What do you want to do later? I don't know. You pick. I can't decide. Well, what the fuck? The problem is, 6 months later, they start using that shit against you. One night she's gonna be, you're so controlling. We always do what you want to do. I never get to say anything. Right? So what does the guy do? He's like, okay, I'm sorry. We'll do whatever you want, right? That's when girls take control. In the middle of the, once you've been together for like 6 months, the guy lets his guard down. That's where it's sneaky. Start taking little things, little by little, to build your case for later. I've been watching. I followed this and traced it all the way back to the car keys. Like one night you're gonna go out and she's gonna be like, give me your keys, and you're like, what? Because you're gonna lose them. You're like, what the fuck? I never lost my keys my whole life, right? But you're a nice guy. You don't want to fight. You're like, yeah, here, hold my wallet, keys, cell phone. Let's just go see bridesmaids, whatever. All right, fine. Then they start taking more things. Here, oh, here, let me cook for you. Oh, here, let me clean for you. Oh, I'll do the laundry. Oh, I'll do the bills. Don't worry about that. 6 months later, they start using that shit against you. Hey, you wouldn't be anything without me, okay? Your clothes will be all dirty. Your bills may be paid. You don't even know where your keys are. The dude's like, shit, I don't know where my keys are. I guess I'm stuck.
As always, check out the Laugh Factory on YouTube. Good stuff from them. You can always find those videos on the Laugh Factory at YouTube.
Yep, we've got a link in our description. But
Always.
The Laugh Factory on YouTube is a hilarious channel. If you haven't checked them out, please do so.
Yep.
If
Laughing is something you can be grateful for.
If you're on Reddit ever, you've found the Laugh Factory.
They always host their clips on there.
Always have the Laugh Factory on Reddit. And I can't tell you how much laughing and smiling. I was telling you before we started the show today that I was watching something on Reddit, and I think it was Jeff Goldblum, but I was having a rough night last night, and I'm sitting there, I'm just looking at my phone, and they said, you know, no matter what's happening, smile. What are you doing right now? Smile. No, seriously, right now, smile. And so I did it, and when you take the act of smiling, it just, you instantly lighten up, even if you don't want to. Even if you don't want to, the act of smiling causes you to feel a little bit better. At least it does for me. I'm not saying that's science. That's been perfect science for him.
But it does work for you. That does matter.
It does.
Good episode today, Ben.
It was, definitely.
I hope that anybody out there listening carries with them that attitude of gratitude into 2020. Let's make this a positive year. It is a fresh start for everybody. I know you always hear that new year, new me stuff, and it can get a little bit old. But at the same time, it's also so incredibly true. And if you've been having a tough year or struggling or anything, look at it as that fresh start. Look at it as that new opportunity. Take it as your light at the end of the tunnel, and let's fucking do this.
Fucking do it, dude.
Yeah, let's make 2020 something special.
Yep.
And let's do it together.
Let's make it our... Never mind.
What?
Bitch.
No.
Let's make it our bit. No.
I mean, we both just said the F word, and you hesitated on bitch.
Well, because I didn't... it's almost derogatory saying, like, let's make something, you know, whatever. But, yeah, let's take 2020, grab it by the balls. Let's have ourselves a great time. Go into it with a positive attitude. My birthday is January 1st. Feel free to send me birthday wishes. No, sorry. I just had to plug that in.
Mine is the 16th.
Right. It's going to be a great
good
January
year.
Take January 1st, and if you've got a New Year's resolution, turn it into a new you revolution. And do something big. Look in the mirror, give yourself a positive affirmation. You're already further than those that have already failed on their New Year's resolution.
Yep. I like that Ben now has like a catchphrase.
I didn't even mean to.
You didn't. You just did it out of nowhere.
Yeah, but we had to go back and re-record it. And we wasn't even on
You
the
just
air.
said it, just talking. And I was like, Ben, That's glorious.
Let's make bumper stickers.
We already have some.
That's true. It's true. Let's make.
If you'd
more
like any of that
bumper
or
stickers.
other merchandise, you
We
can always
got
feel free to
swag.
get a hold of me. We
Yeah.
owe Aaliyah a shirt. Jaden won a shirt, but she never answered me as to what size she needed.
She should be ashamed of herself.
So, I did put that on the post. Aaliyah, I know you're probably listening at this point.
Hopefully.
Send me a message so I can get him that for Christmas time. Jaden needs his t-shirt.
And I love Junior's new wheeler, or whatever you want to call it. I freaking love it.
Yep.
I love seeing the videos too. Aaliyah keep posting them.
Good news all around.
Always. Always. Well,
We love you guys.
it's been a great episode, Sean. Find us on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. We said it earlier. Hit the subscribe button.
Everywhere you get your podcast from.
Google Play,
Spotify,
Apple Play.
Podbox, or some other
I
name.
don't know. Just Google Podcasts. If you're not listening to podcasts yet, then what are you doing?
Join that community. Let's get together. Let's spread some love. Tackle today. And as always, make the best of what's around.
Good one.
Did you stop recording the podcast?
Oh, no.
I didn't think you did.
But I know where to cut her. Right there. I think that was a good one, Sean.
What? I like that we're just at a point of very natural now.
Yeah.
It's
You
just
know,
conversation.
I was thinking the other day about what we're going to do for Dave this year. I did not get Electric Forest tickets like my friends did.
I don't
know
like
who's-
Electric Forest.
No, I've only been there when it was Snoop Dogg and Dave Matthews. Very first year it was
Rockford.
Rockford. Yeah, but we got to figure something out this year.
What do you mean? We gotta do dates. That's all there is to it.
But hotel or tent?
Oh no, I'm always gonna be at the camp.